Hello and welcome back to Third World Gaming, your number one source for all African gaming and esports news. Today we have a few good stories coming up for you guys, but before we get into that, don't forget to smash the like button and sub to the channel not to miss any of the coming news shows and just to help push the videos within the algorithm because Third World Gaming is going to be doing a lot more episodes and you don't want to miss out. First up, we have a topic that has caused quite a lot of controversy within the Rocket League and within the sub-Saharan Rocket League community as well. We are going to be talking about Team Mobula from Spain qualifying to the RLCS London Major as the sub-Saharan African representatives. Now, firstly, my personal opinion is this is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know how Rocket League has created these rules, but it is what it is. We can't really do anything about it. But the fact that a Spanish team is going to be representing sub-Saharan Africa is something that I can't even comprehend. Teams from overseas are trying to take advantage of the rules to qualify through an easier region, which to me sounds stupid. The opportunity is supposed to be there for sub-Saharan Africa and for teams from Europe or Middle East or North America to come and do that here this side should definitely not be allowed. And if they want to do that, they should at least have 2 out of the 3 players in the team be from sub-Saharan Africa. If you want 1 American player and 2 South African players, fine. They're still sub-Saharan. It's still a majority sub-Saharan team. But yeah, getting onto the story, Team Mobula from Spain qualified through the sub-Saharan spot by beating every single team, going undefeated through all 3 qualifiers, and beating the South African champs, Limitless GG, 4-1 in the final of qualifier 6 to qualify for the major, which again absolutely sucks. So the more pressure we put on Rocket League to change these rules, hopefully next season the spot will go to a sub-Saharan African team and we won't see Europeans coming to try and ruin shit this side. But yeah, what do you think about this? Let us know down in the comments your opinion on this whole Rocket League fiasco, and we'll keep covering the story as it goes. We're not going to be supporting Team Mobula in London Major, and I'm personally hoping they get absolutely destroyed every single game, but that's just me. Let me know how you feel down in the comments. Next up, we are going to be talking about Africa's first gaming champion. And this is not like, oh, he's the champion of Africa. That we are speaking about Verix winning the Guilty Gear Strive World Tour 2023-2024, and this is amazing. Just another step forward for the African fighting game community and proving that Africa deserves these opportunities in other games as well. Now, Verix from Solo Esports isn't an unknown competitor. He did travel to Evo last year and he came 5th in Guilty Gear Strive, which is no small feat.
Can y'all give it up for Verix here? Let me hear it one more time.
I can't believe it, too. All the way from Senegal. First time in America, first time at Evo. Congrats to him.
Now, he qualified for the Guilty Gear Strive World Championship through UFA that runs out of Paris, which is the ultimate fighting arena, where he actually also had quite a tough run, but winning the entire event to secure his spot in the Guilty Gear Strive World Championship final. Moving on to the actual final, it was actually such a difficult run for him, proving even more his skill, as his first match was against one of the top players in America and the world in general, Umishaw, which was a nail-biting match, and Verix actually came out on top, winning 3-2 against one of the best in the world. His next match wasn't any easier, as he found himself against another top American player and just top player in the community altogether in NYC Tempest. And again, in a very close, hectic match, he came out the winner 3-2 once again, making his way into the grand finals and securing his spot as a top 2 player in the entire world. Now, moving on to the final, he ended up going against Slash from Saudi Arabia, proving that the underdog regions have what it takes to actually cause these upsets in a Senegalese versus Saudi Arabia final, who, if you had to ask somebody a few months ago, never would have thought would have been the case. And once again, in a crazy, crazy final, he came up 3-2 against Slash, securing his spot as the Guilty Gear Strive World Champion and Africa's first World Champion, which is amazing. Well done, Verix. You deserve all your props, and once again, you represented Africa so well.
He jumps again. He got him airborne.
The backdash this time is clipped yet again. Take him to the other corner. Wild assault to force this pressure. Verix interrupts. Verix is your ARC World Tour 2023 Guilty Gear Strive champion.
In the scramble, found the hit. No mistakes there.
Next up, we're going to be talking about the infamous Esports World Cup, which is going on in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And unfortunately, this is not going to be a good story, as we are talking about Africa being left out of the Esports World Cup. How can you leave out one of the biggest continents in the world from a World Cup? Then it's not a World Cup, it's just another gaming championship. But yeah, it is what it is. There is a slight chance for Africans to qualify, and I mean very slight chance, as there is a MENA region, which is Middle East, North Africa. So there's a slight chance that Africans qualify, but not good enough, and we definitely need more qualifiers for West Africa, East Africa, Central Africa, Southern Africa. I mean, this is one of the biggest gaming events in the world to date, and Africa is just being excluded. Like I just said with the Verix story, Africa has this potential to crown world champions. But if we're not getting the opportunities, there's absolutely nothing that we can do about it. And people could say, oh, but there's no African teams good enough. Of course there is. In Ghana, we have Canvic Esports. In Senegal, we have Solo Esports, who Verix, that we just spoke about being a world champion, comes from, as well as Hamza, one of the best Mortal Kombat players, or if not the best Mortal Kombat players in Africa, also comes from. And from South Africa, we have Bravado Gaming and Goliath Gaming, who have both proved on multiple occasions that in their team, they have players that can run with the best, both in CSGO, in FIFA, in Street Fighter, in Tekken, and not giving us these opportunities is absolutely dumb. Hopefully next year we can see more African qualifiers come through, but this year nothing is going to change about this. And yeah, Africa is just being left out of a $60 million prize tournament just because. And for our final story of today, we're going to be talking about the Tekken World Tour coming to Africa in the form of Paradise Game Battle, Africa's first Masters event. And this is not the first involvement of Africa. Fighting games seem to be the most willing to work with us, as we do have one Southern African qualifier for Tekken and one Southern African qualifier for Street Fighter. But this Masters event being taking place in Ivory Coast is a massive step forward. As like I said, Africa is one of the biggest continents in the world. We need more opportunities to support the massive region and to give enough players the opportunity to prove what they got. We can't just have a Southern African qualifier, because that leaves out Northern Africa, Central Africa, West Africa, East Africa. And although this is Ivory Coast, it's not the entirety of Africa. It's a great step forward. And I'm sure with the results that Bandai and Tekken are going to be getting from all of this, there will be more African qualifiers in the future. Now, this is Africa's first Masters event. It's not Africa's first event in general. As I mentioned, there is a Southern African event in CTS, or Cape Town Showdown, which happens every year. It's not a Masters event, but it is a Challengers event, which doesn't provide as much points as Masters events, but still enough points to bring international players to South Africa to compete and try and win this event. Now, getting back to Paradise Game Battle, this was such a sick event. Watching the stream made me feel like I was watching something overseas, except it was here in our backyard in Africa. It was so awesome. As I mentioned, players from around the world, from the UK, from France, from around Europe, from the Middle East, traveled to Ivory Coast to try and win these Masters events points, which at the end of the World Tour counts up for a lot. Ivory Coast top players in Skywalker, Johnny Shaoling, and the Brewmaster all competed amazingly, proving their skill, all placing within the top 8. Skywalker placing 4th, Johnny Shaoling placing 5th, and the Brewmaster placing 8th. One of the highlights from the tournament for me was an international player. I'm not too sure if I'm going to be butchering his name, but Raif, who is a 2-times Brussels champion in the last Tekken 7 event and the first Tekken 8 event, getting knocked out by Ivory Coast 2 stars, with him being knocked down to losers bracket by Johnny Shaoling and being eliminated before the top 8 by Skywalker.
What a sequence by Shaoling. He finds the wall as well. X marks the spot.
Up. He's looking so good right now.
He is Rife on his final legs. He just forced to spend the dash. Spooky. He
I don't know what's going to happen. Oh my God, Shaoling! He got it on the final round!
Ladies and gentlemen, Shaoling has sent Rife to the losers bracket. What a sequence. Yo, Rife though, trying to crash the party here. Not quite yet. You got to work for your spot here. But now.
Those jabs have been working so well to interrupt Rife. No break on the 1+2 throw.
Hang on, Skywalker. Optimization.
It's not looking good for Rife.
Not quite. Gets the throw. That's going to be it. Rife is sent out of this tournament, and Skywalker advances to top 8, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and like I said, don't forget to smash the like button and sub to the channel not to miss any future African news stories.